The forest is full of life, full of beauty, mystery, and a quiet, hidden power. It's a place that calls to those who seek solitude, to those who want to escape the world. But the truth is, not all parts of the forest are as peaceful as they seem. Beneath the calm exterior, there are places where the air feels wrong, where the trees seem to watch you, and where something just doesn't feel quite right. And some of those places are best left undisturbed. Here's one story you should definitely take with caution. Imagine you're deep in the woods, in a place few people dare to venture. The air is thick, the trees seem to close in around you, and something about the whole atmosphere just doesn't sit right. The kind of forest where every sound feels amplified and the silence is almost unnatural. That's exactly where one hiker found themselves, far off the beaten path, lost in thought when something caught their eye. A cave, hidden in the underbrush, its entrance larger than expected, almost as if it had been carved into the landscape over time. There was something about it that didn't feel normal, but curiosity got the better of them. As they moved closer, the first thing they noticed were the claw marks, massive gouges in the trees surrounding the cave. Long, deep scratches, as if some animal had been rubbing against them, leaving behind clear signs of strength. But this wasn't the kind of damage you'd expect from a regular animal. The marks were too deep, too wide. The next thing that hit them was the smell. A heavy, musky odor that grew stronger the closer they got to the entrance. It was hard to place at first, something between rotten food, wet fur, and a faint metallic tang, an unsettling combination. The kind of smell you can't ignore, something that makes you instinctively recoil. As they stood at the edge of the cave, peering inside, the air felt thicker, heavier, as if the very space itself was warning them to turn back. But curiosity got the best of them, and they stepped inside. The cave wasn't empty. In the far corner, barely visible in the dim light, was a large pile of debris. Twigs, branches, leaves, and large chunks of matted fur. But this wasn't just a pile of junk. It looked like a nest, a large one, a den. And as the hiker took a step closer, the realization hit them. This wasn't just any nest. The sheer size of it was impossible to ignore. It wasn't made by a small animal, no. It was built for something large, something much larger than any small creature could create. The fur scattered across the floor wasn't just from any animal either. It was thick, dark, and wild. But the worst part? The marks on the walls. Long, deep scratches like something had been digging at the rocks. Everything in their guts screamed at them to leave, but they stayed a little longer, surveying the scene. They took a few cautious steps back, but it wasn't until they turned and looked toward the entrance again that they heard it. A low, guttural growl echoing through the cave. That's when it hit them. They weren't alone. And suddenly, everything made sense. The massive size of the nest, the fur, the claw marks, and the smell. It was all pointing to one undeniable conclusion. This wasn't just any wild animal's home. This was a bear's den, a bear preparing for hibernation, which meant it was fiercely territorial, and nothing would make it more protective of its space than a human wandering around. In that moment, the hiker didn't need to think twice. They turned and ran. Because in that moment, they realized one important thing. This wasn't an animal you could handle. It was something far more dangerous than anything they had imagined. And if they had stayed even a second longer, they might not have made it out. So, if you ever find yourself in the woods and you come across something like this, a large cave, claw marks, a heavy, musky smell, and what looks like a massive nest, trust your instincts. Get out and don't look back, because you might not be alone. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe for more unsettling tales from the depths of nature's mysteries. Stay safe out there and keep your eyes open, because you never know what might be watching.